Thanks everybody for coming. Wide. We now are up to 3 plus Shatima
Yes.
is here, and I'm here. And thank you, Shatima, for hosting here, and Sheila for hosting there, and everybody for spending their time with us. And without further ado, as Sheila said, this is this is British Invasion Part 2, and the first one we focus, of course, on a lot of people, but including, of course, the Stones and the Beatles. But I'm sure the Beatles will be back at some further rock legend, and Stones too. Today, we're going to focus on 2 particular groups. One are the Who, and the other are the Animals. And how they got their names, well, Pete Townsend has said that the Who, of course, were just a joke. They were sitting around one night, and probably something was being passed around, and they were looking for some unusual name and might be mildly funny, and they came up with Who. The Animals, there's still a dispute to this day among the members, not in a really bloody way or anything. There are 2 theories, and people in the original group have espoused one or both. One is simply that they were really wild on stage in their early days, and a fellow musician, Graham Bond, who was a blues guru who introduced a lot of great people to blues rock, just said, they're animals, and they liked that. The other is that they had a friend named Animal Hogg, H-O-G-G, and they wanted to be cool, and he was really cool, and they wanted to be cool like him. So there you have it. Okay, so before I get into more biographical stuff about the groups, I'm going to do a couple of songs, one by each, and get warmed up here. And the first one by the Animals. The Animals did a lot of cover songs where the Who did largely their own written stuff, mostly by Pete Townsend. So this is a cover song by the Animals from their early days that combines a bit of both. A couple of their big influences, skiffle, which was sort of a sawed-off British form of blues and folk, and folk and blues, skiffle and blues. It's going to send you back to Walker. You had nothing when I met you, baby, but look at what you got now. Sometimes I wonder, did I make a mistake when I brought you from the south? Gonna send you back to Walker. Girl, that's where you belong. Since you've been in the big city, you've been treating me wrong. Daddy done told me not to bring you to the south. Brought you to the city, the bright lights locked you out. Now I'm down in the mouth. Gonna send you back to Walker, baby, 'cause that's where you belong. Since you've been in the big city, well, you started treating me wrong. Send you back to Walker. Gonna send you back to Walker. Gonna send you back to Walker. Gonna send you back to Walker. Since you came to the big city, girl, you've been treating me. Came to the big city, girl, you've been treating me. Came to the big city, girl, you've been treating me wrong. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, here's a song by The Who that's completely different. And so it is, where did this
Are you focusing on songs in the 60s then?
Most of this, well, most of the songs will be from the 60s. The Who, we have one, I'm looking at the set list on the floor, that's what I'm looking at. One, two, only two songs that they first recorded in the 70s, the rest are from the 60s. The Who could be like a double show on their own. So this is a song, so you probably know that The Who got really famous when they did their rock opera Tommy. And they wound up doing recording two rock operas. The first was Tommy, which became a movie and then a play, musical. And then, Quadrophenia, which became a movie. And there was a third rock opera in the middle that was going to be called Lifehouse. And it never got done. And a number of the songs, though, got included on the album Who's Next. They're great songs. So this is the first song from Quadrophenia, and the only song from Quadrophenia, unfortunately, I could fit in today. Basically, Quadrophenia was a funky pseudo-psychological term for a guy with four personalities that were all clashing. So this song introduces the main character, Jimmy, and it's about his personality issues. The real me. But he never betrays what he thinks. Can you see the real me, doctor? Can you see the real me, doctor? Oh, doctor. Went back to my mother, said I'm crazy, ma, help me. She said, I know how it feels, son, 'cause it runs in the family. Can't you see the real me, mama? Can't you see the real me, mama? Mama. The cracks between the paving stones look like rivers flowing veins. Strange people who know me peeping from behind the window panes. The girl I used to love lives in this yellow house. Yesterday she passed me by, doesn't wanna know me now. Can you see the real me? Can you? Can you see the real me? Can you? Can you? Ended up with a preacher full of lies and hate. I seemed to scare him a little, so he showed me to the Golden Gate. Can you see the real me, preacher? Can you see the real me, preacher? Can you see the real me, doctor? Can you see the real me, mama? Can you see the real me, me? Thank you.
You do that with electric, though, right?
Oh yeah, no, they've done like a lot of other people, like unplugged shows, and Pete Townsend in particular has done, he and Roger Daltrey, the singer, are still performing these days, both as The Who and solos. And the Who put out an album a couple of years ago, which has raised part of, they're probably one of the leading exemplars of a current parlor game, which is, when is a group not a group anymore? So there's a lot of groups out there now performing and even recording that use the original group's name. In a lot of cases, there's only one original member. Usually, like Jethro Tull and Ian Anderson, who was the lead singer and wrote most of the songs. There are actually groups now where there are no original members left. The Temptations, no, I think Otis Williams is still left. But there are a number of groups that are out there recording and performing, mostly performing, that have none of the original group members left. And a lot of them sell really big ticket numbers at high prices, and people come and just want to hear the old songs. And as long as somebody in the current group was in the group somewhere along the way with the original member, that seems to be enough for them. And other people are like, no, never. So Pete and Roger are sort of like, you could raise the question like with the Beatles. Like if John and Paul had gotten together and gone on tour and with the Beatles, probably a lot of people would have accepted it. If Ringo and George had gotten together without John and Paul and toured as the Beatles, they probably would have had things thrown at them, probably. So anyway, so I don't know why I got into that so much, but anyway. So the Animals. So I told you stories about their names. So they were, 2 or 3 of them were art school guys, which is true of a lot of British musicians. They met in art school, and there were a couple of competing bands, and the guys who thought they were the best or the best match got together and formed the Animals, and the other guys went who knows where. So they were all from Newcastle. Apparently people from Newcastle are called Geordies, Geordie, right? You know that, Michael. And there's a particular Geordie accent, which I won't replicate, attempt to replicate. So Newcastle was an old industrial and mining city, and it was really down on its luck by the time these guys came around. So in an interview I found, Eric Burden, the leader, was asked, what kind of new city was Newcastle in the early 60s? Was there a lot of music happening? So his answer was, it was dirty, it was filthy, it was wet and raining all the time. I went to a school between a barnyard where the smell would make you sick, the wind was in the wrong direction, and a shipyard, so you couldn't hear the teacher half the time because of the rivets going into the ships. But we had good times, and there were lots of music clubs. Most of these northern cities were absolute wastelands. So that obviously influenced their choice of music and attitude, and they were really into American blues and jazz. And the next song I'm going to do was actually originally written for and recorded by Nina Simone. And it's a very kind of psychological song, which I remember when the Animals did this in 64, 65. It was the first song of this I remember hearing on the radio. And I had heard they were kind of this blues band based on American blues. And I heard this song, I thought, wow, this is really kind of sophisticated psychological study as opposed to a blues song. Anyway, don't let me be misunderstood. Baby, do you understand me now? Sometimes I feel a little mad, but don't you know no one alive can always be an angel When things go wrong, I feel real bad. I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Baby, sometimes I'm so carefree, with a joy that's hard to hide. And sometimes it seems that all I have to do is worry, and then you're bound to see my other side. I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. If I seem edgy, want you to know that I never meant to take it out on you. Life has its problems, I get my share. That's one thing I never mean to do, 'cause I love you, baby, oh. So good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Oh baby, don't you know that I'm human? I have my thoughts like any other one. Sometimes I find myself, Lord, regretting some foolish thing I've done. I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Yes, I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Yes, I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Thank you. So now I'm going to give the Who a chance, and we'll catch up with the Animals again later. So the Who. So we know the name was a joke, and then the Guess Who came along, and then it got really confusing. Luckily, they weren't at all alike otherwise, and didn't record any of the same songs, mostly. So except for a couple of things they did in concert. For trivia fans, they both recorded the song Shakin' All Over by Johnny Kidd and the Pirates. So anyway, the Who, they were all from London. Unlike the Animals, whose original lineup lasted like 2 albums, the Who had the same lineup for 14 years until Keith Moon died, and then John Entwistle died in the late 90s, but they never had a wholesale transformation like the Animals and a lot of other groups did. So they got started in London in 1964 as a group called the High Numbers, and then the Detours, which Roger Daltrey, who became the singer of the Who, actually led, and he played guitar. And the Detours were kind of an American R&B style group, and they did things by James Brown and other people like that. And Daltrey could be quite a shouter. And that was when Pete Townsend started smashing his guitar on stage at the end of shows. And I don't know if the Detours smashed their drums. When Keith Moon was the Who's drummer from 65 or so till 78, he smashed his drums after each show, and they got very expensive, but it became their trademark and got people to watch them and pulled them in, so they kept doing it. And I had thought that the Who had pretty much stopped smashing their instruments by the early 70s at the latest, but there is on their website, on who.net, I'm not sure if it's official or like a well-recognized fan website, you can find a chronology of every time they can document Pete smashing his guitar after a show. And I was lucky enough to find that on July 29th, 1971, at Forest Hills Tennis Stadium, Flushing, Queens, New York, USA, I was there when one of the times Pete smashed his guitar. And Mooney, as they called him, smashed and kicked over his drums. And Daltrey's thing was to swing his microphone around like with this cord that must have been 100 feet long and swing it around. And in the end of shows, he would hit it on things so it would deliberately, so it would feed back. And there was a crazy explosion of noise. And they may have had smoke bombs, at least at the beginning. And Daltrey, though, hit himself in the eye a couple of times, drilling his drilling his mic back in. So I guess that was the end of that. So anyway, according to Pete, the first public act of destruction was a complete accident. They were performing at a club in London when he unwittingly cracked his guitar's headstock on the venue's low ceiling, and he expected everybody to go, wow, he's broken his guitar. In those days, they didn't carry around whole armies of guitars. But nobody said anything, so he got angry. So he decided at that point, which I think ended the show prematurely, he just smashed the guitar to pieces on stage, and the crowd loved it. So that became their signature, at least until it was superseded by their music getting much better and well-liked. So this is a song, one of the Who's early songs from about 65, called The Kids Are All Right, which is also the name of a documentary where a fan followed them, I guess with their blessing, followed them around for a decade and a half and filmed their concerts and other stuff, and they put it out as a documentary, which unfortunately I've never seen for some reason, called The Kids Are All Right. I don't mind other guys dancing with my girl. That's fine. I know them pretty well. But I know sometimes I must get out in the light. Better leave her behind when the kids are all right. Sometimes I feel I gotta get away. Bells chime, I know I gotta get away. But I know if I don't, I'll go out of my mind. Better leave her behind when the kids are all right. When the kids are all right. I know if I go, things will be a lot better for her. Had things planned, but her folks wouldn't let her. Don't mind other guys dancing with my girl. That's fine. I know them all pretty well. But I know sometimes I must get out in the light. Better leave her behind when the kids are alright. But I know sometimes I must get out of the light. Better leave her behind when the kids are all right. 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 Thank you. Oh, just in case there's a question, I'm not going to demonstrate guitar smashing.
Drums at home.
I love the drums at home, yes. Okay, well, we're going a little out of order here, but this is a song. Pete Townsend, who wrote most of the Who's songs, was of the 60s, but not at all a hippie. And he was very skeptical and sneered at the change that liberals thought was going to bring, or that it was going to be permanent. And so in 1971, on the album Who's Next, which is my personal favorite, every song is great, in my opinion. He wrote this song, Won't Get Fooled Again. One of the interesting things about this song is that the line "won't get fooled again" is not in it. He prays we don't get fooled again. Very interesting. Okay, so with this album, Who's Next, the Who got into things like synthesizers, and which ran a couple of tracks, this one and Baba O'Reilly, which has amazingly become like a stadium song. And also it was a theme song for one of the CSI shows, and I'll play that later. They both have synthesizer tracks running entirely through the song from beginning to end. And when I went to see them in 71, and there was no internet or anything, so word didn't get around about a lot of stuff like it does now, we were all wondering, like, how are they gonna do these songs without the synthesizer parts? On Bob O'Reilly, it sounds sort of like a piano, and on this song, Won't Get Fooled Again, it's more like an organ. Or are they going to have somebody on stage playing it, or what? It turned out they used tapes, which was very influential, and you could probably blame a lot of the artists who now tapes. You could, including when it gets to this part where in the middle of the song where the organ is just going doo-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee by itself. They blacked out the lights and froze in place like statues, which was a little corny considering it was an outdoor concert. And even though it was getting dark out, you could see them pretty clearly. But anyway, the effect would have been to have a blank stage, obviously. So anyway, so that's what they did, was they used tapes. And you can blame a lot of more recent acts who just about everything is recorded on stage, including their voices, and they're almost like lip syncing along with their own songs in concert. Anyway. We'll be fighting in the streets with our children at our feet, and the morals that we worship will be gone, and the men who spurred us on sit in judgment of our wrong. They decide and the shotgun sing the song. Tip my hat to the new Constitution, take a bow for the new revolution, smile and grin at the change all around, pick up my guitar and play, just like yesterday, and I get on my knees and pray, we won't get fooled again. A change it had to come, we knew it all along. We were liberated from the fold, that's all. And the world looks just the same, and history ain't changed, 'cause the banners, they all flow in the last war. Tip my hat to the new Constitution, take a bow for the new revolution, smile and grin, change all around, pick up my guitar and play, just like yesterday, drop my knees and pray, we don't get fooled again. I move myself and my family aside, if we happen to be left half alive, I get all my papers and smile at the sky, for I know that the hypnotized never lies. Nothing in the streets looks any different to me. And the slogans are effaced by the by. And the marching on the left is now marching on the right. And the beards have all grown longer overnight. I tip my hat to the new Constitution, take a bow for the new revolution, smile and grin at the change all around, pick up my guitar and play, just like yesterday. Then I get on my knees and pray, we don't get fooled again. Shortened version of the synthesizer solo. Yeah! Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Thank you. Oh, so Michael, you asked about acoustics. So Pete Townsend actually recorded a live version of that song with just him and the classical guitarist John Williams on guitar, acoustic guitars. It's interesting. Doesn't have that punch, but it was nice. Okay, so The Who. So at 65, their first single, Can't Explain, which I'm about to do, was released. And this was pretty much a punchy, almost punkish sound. And The Who have been cited as a big influence by lots of hard rock groups and lots of punk rock groups. And they always had this interesting dichotomy. As they went along, Pete's writing got more and more arty, if you will, and he wrote a mini rock opera called A Quick One While He's Away on an album in about 67. It's about 10 minutes long and actually has sort of operatic back and forth.
Yeah, classically trained.
No. One of their manager producers, I think, helped him out with a lot of stuff. I mean, he used repeating themes and characters. It's not really classical music, but it has these little smidgens of it in there. And so and then Tommy, of course, was mostly not hard, what you'd call hard rock or punkish at all. So in between the release of Tommy and Who's Next, they put out an album Live at Leeds, England, which is considered one of the best rock live albums ever. And it's really 3 chords and volume, really loud and hard and fast and much different than either of the albums that sandwich it. So they could do that too. So I Can't Explain is kind of a self-explanatory song, and that it was their, as I said, the first single. It was a hit in England. They had, until they put Tommy out, this song I Can See for Miles, which is before Tommy, was their first American hit, and that was 68 or so, and that was reached number 10. It's actually their only top 10 American single. I mean, they were a big singles band in England, but a lot of their stuff singles didn't catch on here.
They translate well sometimes.
Yeah.
Some of their pieces were too long also to really mainstream appreciate.
Well, the early songs were 2 or 3 minutes, but like this one and Kids Are Alright, but whatever reason, they just didn't cut it here. Could have been marketing too. Okay, Can't Explain. Got a feeling inside. Can't explain, certain kind. Can't explain. Feel hot and cold. Can't explain. Down in my soul. Can't explain. Feeling good now, but I can't explain. Dizzy in the head and I'm feeling blue. The things you said, well maybe they're true. Getting funny dreams again and again. I know what it means, but I can't explain. Think it's up, try to say it to you. And I feel blue. Can't explain, can't explain. Hear what I'm saying, can't explain. Dizzy in the head and I'm feeling bad. Things you say got me real mad. Getting funny dreams again and again. Know what it means, but can't explain. Think it's love, try to say it to you. I feel blue. It's love, try to say it to you when I feel blue, but I can't explain. Give me one more chance. Can't explain. Give me one more time. Oh, you drive me out of my mind. Know what I mean, but I can't explain. Now, why wasn't that a really big hit? I ask you. I don't know. 65. Should have been at least in the should have been at least a top 20 song.
They were probably in competition with a lot of other British bands trying to do the same thing.
Oh yeah, well, and there were still some American groups like the Righteous Brothers. Oh, and then Motown really hit at that time. So between the Beatles, the Supremes, and stuff, yeah, it was pretty hard to get up the charts. The Who went to Monterey Pop in 1967, and that helped break them, and as they say, which is a good thing, given in the U.S. And then Woodstock, and that really got them well known, particularly being in the film. And we will come back to them at Tommy. And so the Animals were also at Woodstock, but not at Woodstock. They were also at Monterey Pop, but they weren't the original Animals. They were between the toil of going to 2 million doing 2 million shows a year, not making a whole lot of money. They pretty much everybody but the leader singer Eric Burden quit, and he formed a new group called The Animals. So. So let's see what we're going to do here. Okay. And as I said, they played in Monterey, and Eric, who was very adaptable to trends and their manager, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here, okay, for what equipment I need. So their manager, Mickey Most, was like a pop genius, and he was also the manager for Donovan and the Jeff Beck group, which included a young Rod Stewart. And so he suggested a lot of the stuff. And between him and substances, Eric became a hippie-ish type and got influenced by psychedelic music and wrote this song in praise of Monterey. Unfortunately for him, it never became quite as famous as Woodstock by Joni Mitchell, but did him all right. And this is about the experience at Monterey Pop Festival, and I can't replicate it, but there's this jangly kind of sitar guitar going through. There's a guitar that's got really super revved up pickups that sounds like a sitar, and that goes through the whole song like, you gotta listen, you gotta imagine it. Okay. This is Monterey. The people came and listened. Some of them came and played. Others gave flowers away as they did. guitar's music made me cry. The Who exploded into fire and light. You Masekela's music is black as night. The Grateful Dead blew everybody's mind. Jimi Hendrix, baby, set the world on fire. His Majesty Prince Jones smiled as he moved through the crowd. 10,000 electric guitars were grooving real loud. You wanna find truth in life, don't pass music by. And you know I would not lie, no, I would not lie. Down in Monterey. Days of understanding, of moving with one another. Even the cops grew with us. Do you believe me? Yeah. Down in Monterey, I think that maybe I'm dreaming. Down in Monterey. Thank you.
So I can't really recall ever hearing that.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that. So, okay, so as I met the animals, the original animals all left except Eric in about 66, and he kept it going till 69. Alan Price, the keyboard player, became a solo artist. He also wrote soundtracks for movies, including the movie Oh Lucky Man, which starred Malcolm McDowell and some other things. He did all right. I think he played on a lot of other people's albums. Chaz Chandler, the bass player, became Jimi Hendrix's manager, recruited the other guys for the Experience, and produced the first two Jimi Hendrix albums, Are You Experienced and Axis Bold as Love. And he left in the middle of the recording of the third and last album that Jimi completed in his life, the studio album, Electric Ladyland, because Jimi was becoming very unreliable and very flighty. And there's a documentary on PBS about the recording of Jimi's albums, and Eddie Kramer, who was the engineer, said that, well, Jimi would come rolling in at 3 or 4 in the morning tell the other guys to be there at 9 or 10 p.m. and roll in at 3 and 4 in the morning and be ready to play. And they were like, really? So, but they had to. So anyway, Chaz Chandler, the bass player of the Animals, left him. Then he went on to produce Slade, which was a big kind of skinhead rock group that had a bunch of hits. Eric Burdon went on to get together with the group War, and they have a really famous song together, Spill the Wine, which is kind of like a combination of jazz and psychedelia. And then War became a group in its own right. And they'll be one of the groups played in the next Rock Legends next month. And Eric's other big claim to fame is that he was really friendly with Jimi, and then the story goes that he was the first person Jimi's girlfriend called when Jimi did the OD that unfortunately killed him. So anyway, we're going to do one more Animal song and then finish with the Who. So this is an anti-Vietnam song that Eric Burdon wrote Sky Pilot, and I never knew this until yesterday. A sky pilot is a Air Force chaplain. This song's sort of, you get the idea. He blesses the boys as they stand in line. The smell of gun grease and bayonets they shine. He's here to help them all that he can. To make him feel wanted, he's a good holy man. Sky pilot, how high can you fly? You'll never, never, never reach the sky. Smiles at the young soldiers, tells them it's alright. He knows their fear in the forthcoming fight. Soon there'll be blood and many will die. Mothers and fathers back home, they will cry. He mumbles a prayer, it ends with a smile. The order is given, they move down the line. But he's still behind, and he'll meditate, but it won't stop the bleeding or ease the hate. As the young men move out into the battle zone, he feels good with God, who's never alone. He feels tired and lays on his bed, hopes a man will find courage in the word he said. Sky pilot, how high can you fly? You'll never, never, never reach the sky. You're soldiers of God, you must understand the fate of your country is in your hands. May God give you strength to do your job well. If it was all worth it, only time will tell. In the morning they return with tears in their eyes. The stench of death drifts to the skies. The soldier looks so ill, looks up at the sky pilot, remembers the words, thou shalt not kill. Sky pilot, how high can you fly? You'll never, never, never reach the sky. Sky pilot, how high can you fly? You'll never, never, never reach the sky. Thank you. Okay, so back to the Who, and okay, so this is out of order here. Now we're gonna do one of my favorite Who songs. It's not also an early single that's not that well known, but I think it's a great social commentary. It's called Substitute, and I don't know whether a couple of the lines are meant to be really funny or just came out that way. A good put-down song. Can't get enough good put-down songs, huh? You think we look pretty good together. You think my shoes made of leather. Well, I'm a substitute for another guy. Look pretty tall, but my heels are high. The simple things you see are all complicated. Look pretty young, but I just turned dated. Ooh. Look bloody young, but I'm just backdated. Yeah. Substitute me for him. Substitute my Coke for gin. Substitute you for my mom. At least I'll get my washing done. I was born with a plastic spoon in my mouth. The north side of my house faced east, east was facing south. Now you dare to look me in the eye, crocodile tears, I'll watch you cry. It's a genuine problem, but you won't try to work it out, no, you just pass it by, pass it by. Substitute me for him, substitute my Coke for gin, substitute you for my mom, at least I'll get my washing done. Substitute your lies for facts, I see right through your plastic back. Black life, my dad was black, that suit is really made out of sack. Okay, that's a shorty, and okay, now we're gonna do My Generation, which is famous for Roger Daltrey's stuttering vocal, which apparently the producer suggested, and probably not politically correct anymore to do that, but I don't really like doing it anyway, so. But hope I die before I get old is the classic line, and of course, neither Pete nor Roger got to die before they got old. Poor guys, they're stuck in a Sisyphean world of playing and listening.
Only Keith Moon got to die before he got old.
Well, John Entwistle was sort of middle-aged. Well, Keith was a real, Keith was too fast to live. Oh, so this is going to segue into something that is the end of Tommy. Just a piece. People try to put us down, talking about my generation, just because we get around, talking about my generation. What they do look awful cold, talking about my generation. Hope I die before I get old, talking about my generation, generation, baby, my generation, baby. Why don't you all fade away, talking about my generation? Don't try to dig what we all say, talking about my generation, not trying to cause a big sensation. I'm talking about my generation, baby. Why don't you all fade away, talking about my generation? Don't try to dig what we all say, not trying to cause big sensation. I'm talking about my generation, baby. People try to put us down, talking about my generation, just because we get around. Talking about my generation, things they do look awful cold. Talking about my generation, hope I die before I get home. Generation, baby, my generation, baby. See me, feel me, touch me, heal me. Listen to you, I get the music gazing at you. I get the heat following you. I climb a mountain, I get excitement at your feet. Right behind you, I see the millions. On you, I see the glory. On you, I get opinions. From you, I get Follow with you, I climb a mountain. I get excitement at your feet. That was the end of the song. We're not going to take it. So I don't know if you know the story of Tommy, so let's see if I can do it in a minute. I need that guy, he used to do the commercials where he did like 1,000 words a minute.
Language.
So Tommy's father, Captain Walker, goes away on an expedition. They think he's dead. His wife marries her boyfriend. Captain Walker shows up unexpectedly. The boyfriend kills him. Tommy who's a young kid, sees it, goes into a state of sort of catatonia where he can't apparently see, speak, or hear. They try all kinds of crazy things to revive him, including putting him for the night with the acid queen, played very memorably by Tina Turner in the movie Tommy. Nothing works until the doctor somehow figures out that Tommy can see himself in the mirror. He smashes the mirror and Tommy is set free. Tommy in the meantime, becomes the pinball wizard because nothing distracts him. And this is while he's still blind, deaf, and dumb. So, actually, the song Pinball Wizard, which I'm going to do next, has almost nothing to do with the rest of the story, except for the fact that Tommy becomes like a messiah, and people follow him around and fight to be in his presence, and he makes them go through the same experience of being artificially deaf, dumb, and blind, and strapped to pinball machines, and they rebel. That's the story, and we're not going to take it. The last song is about them rebelling. And then he has an epiphany and realizes that he needs to be listening to them instead of them listening to him. That's apparently why the last thing I played, he's listening to you, I hear the music, gazing at you, I hear the beat, etc. So Pinball Wizard was the only single from the album, and it was a pretty big hit. I guess it's obviously never made the top 10 in the US, which is okay. Pete has made, as these things have been re-released and re-recorded and shown millions of places, except Pete had an extremely bad cognac habit, which cost tons of money. And then he says that Tommy may have been inspired by him being molested as a kid, unfortunately. But then he spent all kinds of money trying to fight, and he says investigate child pornography, excuse me, particularly after the internet. Wound up getting arrested, but talked his way out of it. So anyway, that's Pete's story. Okay, so this is Pinball Wizard. Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played them all. But I ain't seen nothing like him in any amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. He stands like a statue, becomes part of the machine. Feeling all the bumpers, always playing clean. Plays by intuition, the digit counters fall. That deaf, dumb, and blind boy sure plays a mean pinball. He's a pinball wizard, there has to be a twist. A pinball wizard's got such a supple wrist. How do you think he does it? I don't know what makes him so good. Ain't I gonna notice attractions, can hear no buzzes and bells. Don't see lights flashing, plays by sense of smell. Always gets a replay, never seen him fall. The deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. I thought I was the volley table king, but I just handed my pinball crown to Bill. Even at my favorite table, he can be my best. His disciples lead him in, he just does the rest. Got crazy foot fingers, never seen him fall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays mean pinball. Thank you. Okay, well, here's one of my favorite songs the Who always did live, Summertime Blues, which of course they didn't write. It was written by Eddie Cochran in the late 50s. And Eddie Cochran, by accounts of people who witnessed him in person and were into him in the late 50s, he died about like 21 or 22, like Buddy Holly. There were a lot of people at the time who thought he could have been as big as Elvis, but he kind of James Deaned himself to death, unfortunately. Anyway, you see, he wrote this classic song, Summertime Blues. Okay. Well, I'm gonna raise a fuss, I'm gonna raise a holler. Bad working all summer, just trying to earn a dollar. Well, I didn't do the work, I told the boss I was sick. The boss said, no die, son, you gotta work late. Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, 'cause there ain't no cure for the summertime. Well, my mama, papa told me, son, you gotta earn some money. If you wanna use the car to go ride next Sunday. Well, I didn't know the work, I told the boss I was sick. Can't use the car 'cause you didn't work a lick. Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, 'cause there ain't no cure for the summertime. Gonna take 2 weeks, gotta have a fine vacation. Gonna take my problem to the United Nations. Well, I went to my congressman, he said, quote, I'd like to help your son, but you're too young to vote. Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, 'cause there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. Ain't no cure for the summertime blues. Okay, we got time to squeeze in one more here? Sure we do. Nobody's stopping me? I'll keep going. So this is a song that the Animals used to do. So I mentioned that among their big influences were American blues guys, and they actually were one of the two bands, them and the Yardbirds, that were backed up Sonny Boy Williamson on his tours of England in maybe 64 and 65, and they just loved to play that music. And Sonny Boy who was a guy who spoke his mind, said when he was asked how the English boys play the blues, he said, they really want to play badly, and that's exactly how they play it. But I think they were okay. So this is a song by the great American bluesman and a big influence on the Animals and a lot of other people, Jimmy Reed, Bright Lights, Big City. Baby's head, bright lights, big city, round on my baby's head. I tried to tell you, woman, but you won't believe the thing I said. It's alright, pretty baby, gonna need my help someday. It's alright, pretty baby, gonna need my help someday. You're gonna listen to some of the things that I had to say. You know, I warned you, baby, about these Cadillacs with the bright, shiny wheels. Rolls Royce with the silver crowd wings, baby, you don't know how it feels. Man with money, cigarettes, mingle scotch and bourbon, chasing after your high heels. Bright lights, big city, got to my baby's head. Bright lights, big city, got to my baby's head. I tried to tell you, woman, you won't believe a thing. Tell you, woman, you never believe a thing. Tell you, woman, you never listen to a thing I say. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carl.
Thank you
That
to the
was
studio audience. Thank you to the people playing the home version. Sheila has, I'm sure, prizes from the Michael C. Fina catalog for the contestants.
yeah, I got to think fast there on my feet. What are those prizes? Thank you very, very much, Carl. This was wonderful. Thank you for bringing us back to those days of the
Oh,
British
yeah.
invasion.
I'm still
Yeah, that
there.
was
I never
cool.
left.
Thank you to all of you on Zoom, and thank you to those of you watching from Arlington Mill. We're really delighted you could join us. Yes, yes. Thank you to Shatima for setting everything
Yes,
up
thank you,
in
Shatima.
Arlington Mill. We appreciate it. He is our technology whiz. Okie dokie, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Carl, for entertaining us
Thank you,
once
Sheila,
again. We
for hosting it.
appreciate it. Everybody stay well.
Bob,
We'll see you next
good to
time.
see you. Good to see everybody. Bye.